All right, hey, welcome to the Mystery School.
Hey,
you guys want to do these shots now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Pretend I hit everybody.
Somebody makes a horrible noise. It's because
My
they're taking a
antlers
shot.
Cheers.
Definitely hit everybody there. I've got a shot glass with
Tequila.
beer on it.
Well, here we are. Another Mystery School
So choice.
episode. I said this is probably a extra special Mystery School episode here. I would probably call this the All-Star lineup.
We rallied all the talent we know together.
This is what you came up with?
This is yeah. This is our starting five right here tonight.
I should have worn underwear.
We were looking around when she said All-Star.
You're like,
When they show
here.
Well, I didn't necessarily say this was our first choice.
let's just say we had 3 cancellations.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
All right, tonight we got Steve Stizzo on the organ. Say something, Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve Stizzo.
That's his voice.
On the organ.
Ryan Moore is back. This is like your 4th episode, right?
Yeah. Becoming a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to, like, you should be on the
Is
roster.
it the fourth or the third?
I think it's 4th. I was counting it up. Yeah, it's the 4th.
That's right.
4-star.
He did 2.
That's right. We have Ryan
2
Moore
as the
returns,
trio.
and then the last one with
Danny.
With Danny, yeah.
That's right.
And Mike,
Where I couldn't
Mr.
make it.
Gilman.
And then we got Jeremy Plog.
Hey, guys.
Jeremy's back. This is your 2nd time here.
Welcome
Second
back.
time. Sophomore effort.
Yeah,
See if I can do better.
we'll see. And Dustin, of course, over here.
And we got Tony on the guitar.
No, I'm on the bass tonight.
Oh, Tony. Oh.
yeah, I'm
Tony's
the
on
bass man.
We could switch.
You guys
too.
sound
want?
unsure of that.
Oh, no, it's not that.
Well,
That will be interesting, finding out who's playing what at different times, and we can mix a lot of stuff
We do the
around.
rotating instruments at
Yeah.
times.
We've done it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, tonight or whatever we got three awesome musicians to accompany me and Dustin. Should be cool.
Yeah, we go from the duo, I think, the last episode.
Which is pretty sonically offensive.
Pretty sonically offensive, I would say.
If you like Dissident, it's probably the right episode for you.
If you like psychedelic indulgence by 2 musicians.
But then now, this episode we have like actually musicians that know what they're doing, which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd actually make a few dollars doing this.
Well, so Steve,
pennies to rub
you've played
together.
music like your whole life, right?
Yeah, since I was 4 years old.
Your dad played before you were born.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he taught music, so that
We have a
was while
historic
everybody else
lineage
was going to
of-
nursery school. I was in my room practicing Lady of Spain
What
accordion.
How old do you think you were the first time you strapped an accordion on?
Oh, geez, probably about 2 years old or so, but I didn't really start playing until I was about four and a half, I think.
And you were like composing at age 5, right? You were like writing.
That was my
accordion stuff?
first composition, and it entailed 4 notes, and it was a 1-4-5. It was a polka, and it was called the Polka Dot Polka. And there are no known recordings of this. So, in fact, that was pretty much before there were recorders. So
That's cool though. 1-4-5 polka dot polka. That's like
Yes.
that's pretty solid.
Was it an
That's,
instrumental?
it was way ahead of its time. Yeah.
That's
Did you grow up here?
Yes, I was born and raised here in Roseville. In fact, when I was born, I lived about 2 houses, literally 2 houses from here,
That's awesome.
right down the street. And my dad was giving accordion lessons. Well, when I was until I was about 2 years old or so.
We're still trying to get him to build the park for your dad too.
Yeah, that's coming up. Now
Yeah.
it's still up for vote at the Roseville City Council meeting.
I think it'll
sometime.
happen. What do you think?
I'm optimistic, but if it doesn't happen this time, it will within a matter of months.
Yeah.
a new park or?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a new part.
Oh, cool.
What do us and the listeners have to do to get behind that?
Well, actually, all the petitions have been turned in, and we've got a support of a lot of higher ups in the city management, the city politics. So I'm pretty confident it'll go through.
Awesome.
So you don't need the 6 people that listen to this to
No,
to help out.
you guys can take a break. You know?
So on the campaign trail, then you got the polka dot polka.
Oh,
On
well, that's the official
campaign theme
that's the
song.
official campaign song. Yeah.
So was that your instrumental jammed, or did you have lyrics to
No,
it?
it was instrumental and it was solo.
Okay.
At that point, I couldn't even read or write English, let alone read or write music. So I had no way of teaching it to anybody else. So I just took it on myself.
So
And that
from
was
there-
on the button accordion?
No,
too?
that was the piano
the-
accordion, which
Okay,
is
cool.
buttons on left side and piano
Yeah.
keyboard on the right, which
Nice.
I still play now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're one of the few people that know what to do with your left hand when you're playing the accordion.
Yeah. Well, actually, but a lot of times I'm just taking the place of the bass player.
Yeah.
So. But if I'm around a campfire or something, yeah, the left hand comes in handy.
Fills it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a one-man instrument, you know, it's
Yeah.
a little one-man band. So
So you started accordion at whatever 3 or 4 or whatever you said.
let's just say 4.5.
Okay, and then but eventually you switched to drums, right? Eventually you were a drummer.
Eventually, well, the next instrument was trumpet. I took
Oh,
trumpet when I was in 4th grade in grade school here in Roseville.
Uh-huh.
And played trumpet for a while until I was in 8th grade or 7th grade. It was 7th grade. And then school district got a couple of French horns. And the teacher said, well, I got these 2 new French horns. Anybody willing to take this home and give it a try? And I said, yeah, I'll try.
Uh-huh.
And I came back the next day, and the other 2 people that had French horns, they turned them
I
in.
quit.
And I was ready to go. I said, come on, put me in, coach. Yeah, I got it.
It's awesome.
So then I did that, and then I played drums. I just picked up drums just because my dad, by that time, he had a music store. And he had a drum set in his garage. I came home from school one time. And, yeah, I was in 7th grade, so it's about the same time as I picked up the French horn. And I saw that drum set sitting there, and I just started playing. And just came real easy to me. So then I started playing in different bands up until I was in college. Well, all through college, I played drums in rock and roll bands.
Did you always play the kit, or did you do marching band, snare drum?
No,
Ever
I
go for
played marching band, marching snare drum in marching band when I was a freshman,
that? Okay.
and then after that, I played in the jazz band in high school, which I
Okay.
played French horn, reading trombone parts because we were
Okay.
short on trombone players. So, so I was transposing trombone parts to play French horn in the stage stage band, jazz
So
band.
you're like the Michael Jordan of instruments.
yeah,
Play
Bo
whatever-
Jackson.
Play whatever
You know,
instrument.
well,
yeah,
Bo
whatever
Jackson.
they needed, utility infield.
This is episode 23, so we got the right guy for
we
the
go.
job.
What, is this a 3-hour show or what?
It kind of is.
Well, I'm gonna tell you how old I am, but I'm only up to about 18 years old so far here.
You play a full game about 48 minutes.
What'd you
Yeah.
45 with some sub-ins.
Yeah,
depends if it gets close at the end, then it's
Yeah.
going to get real long.
if it starts
I
raining.
can foresee an overtime game tonight.
What would you start playing drums on? Was it like rock drums right off the
actually,
bat?
I was played. I played along with old Beach Boy albums.
Beach Boys?
Okay.
Yep.
So did you view them as surf or pop?
Yeah, surf.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
really dug on the surf.
Yep.
Were
But
you-
then when my first band was I was in 7th grade or so. A couple of friends of mine had well, actually they were 8th graders. I was a 7th grader, and we had a girl, female rhythm guitar player, and then a buddy of mine playing lead guitar, and another friend of mine playing bass guitar. And there was 4 of us. And we played all the Battle of the Bands in the Country Club Plaza and Southgate shopping centers. They used to have Battle of the Bands all the time during the summer around here. Roseville Square, they used to have them. Every shopping center, and the DJs at that time, the AM DJ. Yeah, because that was before FM radio, believe it or not.
And
And
what-
the
what
AM
year is
DJs would come from KXOA, and they would be the master of ceremonies, the DJs, and there was some really good bands at that time.
Is that how you transitioned into the Stump the Stizzo? through
No,
meeting
that
those
came
contacts?
years
That was
later.
way later, yeah.
So what year was that then?
Yeah, that came back.
What
in
year
the-
was that then when you were doing the Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, well, back in the Battle of the Bands, yeah, I was just another drummer.
But this is like
What
late
year? Is that the
60s?
60s?
Yeah, this was in the mid '60s.
Mid-
I would say,
60s?
yeah.
And then how did the Stump the Stizzo come along? If I'm not jumping
That's
ahead,
That came. No, that's all right. Yeah, we'll just jump. Yeah,
and then we'll connect the dots.
Do
between
you want
there.
we can
to
connect the dots
Tarantino
later.
it?
So but was that your first kind of connection with the AM radio and getting because that was big in those
at that
the
point?
60s.
Yeah. But the Stizzo thing came. I was in 1987. I was a musical director for a short-lived talk show / variety show on Channel 3, KCRA Channel 3. They were looking for like a Paul Schaefer type of guy.
Yeah.
I hate to use that comparison 'cause I'm not a Paul Schaefer fan. But so anyway, and two of the guys that were on the show, two of the writers were Paul Robbins and Phil Cowan from Y92, which is real popular back in the 90s or so. And the show got canceled after 9 months, and I never heard from anybody for a couple of years. And one of the DJs, one of the Paul Robbins or Phil Cowan, one of them called me in, I think it was like 1989.
What was the host of that show called, though? That first show you did?
That was
What's his name?
Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, Jack Gallagher,
It was
yeah.
called TV Light. Jack Gallagher at that time was a new comedian that just came out of Boston, and he was an ex-school teacher, and he just wanted to get into stand-up.
He still has a career in.
He's a
kinda
hilarious
in
guy,
that- in that field. He does
Yeah.
like a one-man show now.
Yes, he's done several one-man shows that have been real successful, and he also writes stuff for TV.
He also
down
did.
in, L.A., and he was.
He
on,
did the Crystal theme song for,
he was the
for the
crystal
ice cream
guy.
or something,
He
right?
was the crystal ice cream
No
guy
kidding.
at the same time that we were doing the show back in
Because
'87.
I remember that commercial when I was a kid. You remember
Yeah.
that Crystal ice cream commercial? And he sings the song.
I don't know
Yeah,
if I do.
No.
I can't even remember the
Yeah.
the.
It's crystal. It's crystal. I eat it all the time.
you
when
are
I
playing
am
bass
not
tonight,
eating
right?
it.
Okay.
It's always on my mind.
That's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I didn't even remember.
I
that.
remembered it from being a kid. It was on like all the time.
Of 1986.
Yeah, we got no singer. Don't worry, people. If you guys are tuning in,
We're all
you don't have to
instrumental
shut it
tonight.
off.
Yeah.
It's instrumental.
We're having a continuation of the polka dot polka.
Yeah.
Pure
That's stuck in your mind now, isn't it? Yeah.
We could do a mashup. Have you're singing the Crystal song with the polka dot polka in the background.
We could arrange
I
that.
don't want to
we
have to
have
pay royalties for all that.
Yes, I'm not cheap. It's
Steve's got the.
gonna cost you.
He's friends with the host.
Oh.
Well, good.
Okay,
So Stump the Stizzo, they would.
So Stump the
basically write
Stizzo-
it-
yeah.
The callers would put a song on.
Yes.
And it try to stump you, and you would try to play that
Right.
song.
That's when I was contacted by Paul or Phil at one point and said, why don't you bring your accordion into the show this Friday? And I said, well, what do you want me to do? I haven't picked this thing up for like 25 years. And he said, oh, no, that's right. It'll be funny. We'll think of something. So I got there, and he said, well, why don't we have callers just call in songs and see if they can stump you. And I said, yeah, okay, we'll try that. And it was supposed to be a one-time thing. It was supposed to be a joke.
Yeah.
And and after the show, they said, well, hey, can you come in next week? And after that, can you come in next week? And so it was like for like 10 years.
Wow.
It was every Friday
What was your
morning.
on bass percentage?
It was really good. It was like .999.
You were
or
almost
something.
never stumped,
So
right?
you were A plus.
Wow.
I think I was
What's
stumped
the-
once or twice.
Every genre, whatever the caller could.
It was
think
pretty
of?
much, but I would kind of limit
Wow.
it to anything before 1995 or 96, After a while, I get people calling, hey, do you know the Illinois fight song, or do you know
Right.
Yeah.
the ITT and Tech, rah-rah-rah song? I said, no, come on,
That's
jeez.
funny.
Mia said during that she got to meet Bobcat Goldthwait when she was a little kid.
Bobcat Goldthwait. Who else did she meet? Well, she met a bunch of people. There used to be a bunch of people that would come in on that show. serious musicians like Boss Skaggs, semi-serious musician like David Crosby. Donnie Osmond was one of the first guys I met, and I played with him.
Wow.
And he's a great guy.
You
He's a
played
real nice
accordion
guy.
and he like sang a
Yep.
song over it?
Yep. In fact, I learned a song when he was pulling into the radio station. He was promoting his new album, and I got the cassette of his top song on that album like 30 minutes before he got there. So I'm in another room listening to this on a cassette. If anybody remembers what those are.
99%.
With headphones, listening to this and writing down the chords on a sheet of paper. And here he comes walking in. He goes, yeah, we got this accordion player that can play along with your song. And he goes, yeah, sure. But actually, he turned out to be a great guy. And and I've talked to him several times since then. Not lately, but he was a real cool guy. David Cassidy was a bit of a snob. Boss Skaggs was just so tired that he didn't really do much talking at all. They got him up I think he had to be there at like 7 in the morning, and he's driving from Mill Valley.
Did you play with him, or was he?
No, he didn't. No, I didn't play with him, but Mickey Thomas, I played with him.
Who's that?
We did Sarah. Mickey Thomas is the guy that took over Grace Slick's.
Oh, Jefferson
spot
Airplane
in
or whatever,
Jefferson
or
Airplane, yeah.
Starship or whatever
Yeah.
year it is.
Yeah.
And he sang on quite a few hits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he
Didn't he
did.
sing with Elvin Bishop a little bit?
Yes, he was
Right.
the fool around and feral in love
Right.
guy.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
obviously, you're a well-seasoned musician with Berkeley School of Music. What would you say would be, one, having a lot of awesome teachers? Who's your biggest musical mentor, and then biggest musical influence?
It had to have been my dad. I couldn't have done it without my dad. And he taught me. I was reading music before I could read, before I could read.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and it always came second nature to me. I still
Music,
to this.
it's your first language, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And English
Yeah.
comes second.
Distant second sometimes. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so who's your biggest influence musically?
Oh, yeah,
Who do you just
yeah.
look up to?
Without a doubt.
And mentor? So your dad, both, he taught you the most?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just inspired you musically?
Yeah.
What was
Yep.
his ace in the hole musically? What was his
I think it
go-to?
was just like just his knowledge of music. He played
played
accordion.
everything.
He played a little piano, but he taught everything. He taught drums. He taught trumpet. Although he didn't play a note, but he just had a knowledge of music. Like,
to read.
you're doing that wrong, you're doing that right. And he had a lot of like world-class students, accordion students and piano students that
Didn't he train Weird Al?
no, and I think he probably would have been proud of that fact. He never got quite to Weird Al's level there. Although he's a great accordionist, Weird
But-
Al is.
Okay, you have a good
Yes.
you have a good story about when you first learned accordion. You guys went to San Francisco, right? You and your brother, and you had to cross the Golden Gate with your accordions.
Oh no, that was my dad's story.
Oh, that's your
Yeah.
dad. Okay.
Yeah, when my dad was one of his teachers was in Oakland, and this was
Before the Bay Bridge.
Before the Bay Bridge, and the Golden Gate Bridge had just opened up. So this was like in the late 1930s, and my grandfather was too tight to pay the 25 cents or 50 cents.
Or no, this was before the Carquinez Bridge or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
parked on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge, walked across the Golden Gate Bridge, and
Yeah,
took a bus to Oakland.
So your dad had to carry an accordion across the
Yes,
Golden Gate Bridge.
him and his brother.
and then take the bus to Oakland.
Yeah.
That's like.
save the
Could you
quarter or
imagine? That's like
whatever.
probably a 2-mile walk with an accordion. That's like probably like 15, 20
Yeah,
pounds.
It feels
in the
a lot
wind.
more than that. Yeah,
by the
I could even imagine like carrying like just like a 5-pound dumbbell across the Golden Gate. It's a long bridge.
Oh, geez. I played the jazz festival in Sacramento 2 weeks ago. I couldn't carry my accordion from the firehouse lot to the Freeway Gardens. That's what, like a half a block? I needed help. I was dragging
Gotta
it
have
half
wheels.
That's
Jeez.
his decision making and finding a smaller and smaller instrument to play in school.
Yeah.
So they can fit it in their backpack.
Well,
was my
I found out
decision.
that day that it's easier just to take the accordion out of out of the case, swing it over your shoulder,
You could just
and walk.
play
Yeah.
it on your walk like a marching accordion.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to put it on like
chops
that. You don't. You try not to call attention to yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to get beat up.
No, we try to make it a peaceful walk there.
So you got into drums, and then you went to Berkeley School of Music in Boston as a drummer, right?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I was. My major was arranging and composition.
Oh, okay.
So,
but you were a drummer, right, at the time?
Yeah, at that time, and then after college, I stuck around for another couple of years and toured up and down the East Coast with the Coasters, the Platters, the Drifters, all those.
All the Ers?
Yeah, all the Ers. In fact, when I came back to the West Coast, I ended up playing a lot of shows with the same bands, but they weren't the same people.
Yeah.
And later on, I learned that there was like five guys in the Drifters. Well, and the Coasters too. They kind of split off into branches. So there's like a Coasters band in Florida. There's one in Philadelphia. There's one in L.A. There's as many members of the band there are. There's that many bands. But that's good for me because I played with all of them. They all remember
More
me.
opportunities. Everybody's playing one night.
Yeah.
Same tunes, right?
Yeah, same keys pretty much too.
And then though, when you got back from Boston, you started playing piano, right? Or
Yeah.
That you said like your brother was a really good drummer, right? When you got back,
He still is. Yeah. And
so you're like, I better pick up something else.
Yeah. Plus,
you-
it was I was just more interested in keyboard at that time anyway. But he was a much better drummer than I was. So I ended up playing a bass in a band that he was in when I first got back from Boston, which was kind of fun. So
Shit.
I didn't
Having
pick it
beer
up. I didn't
spilling
touch it.
everywhere here.
All you guys are just spilling beers.
What happened?
They're foaming. Is it the heat reduction?
Might be.
I think it's probably you.
You picked up the 3-pack and like shook it.
Did I?
I did.
Maybe I did when we were.
I didn't do it.
Like a cold drink.
I didn't do anything to those Dales except for set them right there.
They get warm, man. They're gonna blow up on it. But don't worry, I got you some good stuff.
What is going on there? That is a very loud purse.
Look, man, this
Ryan has a beer purse.
it's got,
It's like a springtime striped beer purse. It's really great.
Oh man, I know. I just.
You guys
have not
gotta
been
you guys
shaken.
gotta finish those foamy ones you just popped. All right.
Oh, are there rules?
Dustin's just sucking beer
man.
off the table right now.
did this come
I
off
had
the
a
same
straw.
ring here?
Yeah,
No,
don't do that.
no, that's off a different ring.
I think it was the previous pool. Put those back there.
Just don't
you
open
have
it
to,
near
like,
the
tap?
snake. We don't need that thing.
No, I'm
get-
gonna open this one right here.
Thanks, man. I'm glad.
There we go.
Being brave
Yeah,
enough
you
to
know.
open that right after me, and like, so I wasn't the only
I don't know
one to
if
be
brave is the right word, but
like, being enough of an alcoholic to want another beer.
He was just
right after
thirsty.
that.
It's only brave if
exploding.
you're
I want
conscious
beer
of
bad
the
enough to not give
the
a fuck.
possible doom.
I'm like the
So you know,
second guy
Oscar
to
Blues,
run off
if
the
not
cliff.
below 40 degrees,
Like,
blows up in your face.
Yeah.
You proved my point instantaneously.
It helped you out.
Cheers to that. Yeah, you helped me out. It's a good friend, right?
That's what I'm here for.
It's a good friend.
Just foam is not a good beer. Wow.
What is, oh,
I have
this
to
here?
wait. Well, when it's just all
When it's
foam
all
on
foam,
the top.
yeah, well, no beer is good when it's all foam.
No.
That's what my waitress told me was the best part.
For that $7 beer that you bought.
Yeah, works as a sunscreen too. The suds.
All right, so
Okay, we're back. Wow.
we've spilled the beer. We're back. So
Foam explosion.
you come back. You're playing bass in a band
Yeah,
because your brother's already like the star drummer in town, basically.
well,
that the older
not
brother,
in
or-
town. He was still kind of playing in a real low key band that was playing like disco stuff in places like the Embers and
Oh, the
bowling
Embers.
alleys. Yeah,
It's a nice place.
yeah.
Nobody who hears this is gonna know what that means.
It wasn't a nice place when we played there, and it's even worse now. I think if it's still there.
I don't think it's still there anymore.
Yeah.
They've kind of they've cleaned up Auburn Boulevard
It kind of self-imploded.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a different. Auburn Boulevard had a different kind of reputation in the past than it does now.
I doubt it.
It's the same reputation.
It was always there.
It might have been a little raunchier at that point,
Oh.
but yeah. So but I did a lot of bowling alleys with them and some gay clubs. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
What about the Rose Room, Denny's, right?
Oh,
or was that later?
At that point, that gig was locked up by this husband and wife team.
Oh, really?
The guy played a cocktail drum set, which is like a long floor tom-tom with a bass drum that beats that from the bottom,
Right.
and a cheesy cymbal attached to it. And
they can all the drums
like
and cymbals can fit into the bass.
Yeah,
the kick drum.
Right.
Yeah.
You
The
just carry it
hi-hat
like a
doesn't move,
briefcase.
right?
No,
Just like a
nothing moves. Yeah.
The hi-hat's just solid.
And his wife played organ, so the Hammond. They had a Hammond organ, and actually they weren't bad, but they were there for years and years and years.
Couples are annoying, anyways. I mean, a couple playing music together. How annoying would that be
Yeah.
to watch? I mean,
Yeah.
it's as awesome.
However, I
as they
saw
are,
one
like,
this weekend that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Connection, right? Like family playing together too. Like it could be amazing, but at the same time, even if they're good, you're just like a hater. Like,
Yeah.
stop this public display of affection.
Saturday Night Live.
They're always
skit.
singing about how awesome their relationship is. And this is how awesome I can play this instrument to show how you've inspired me, sweetie.
It could get dark though, like if there's like some breakup
that's what
songs
you
or
want.
something,
That's what you want.
There's like the dude sings
You're
a
hoping
song
for that.
like about like murdering a woman.
Yeah, it's a lot of murder ballads.
The song goes out to the ladies out there. It's
Or
called
cheating on the
Fuck
wife
With
next to him. Yeah. This isn't about you.
Well, it's like
One, two.
Johnny Cash and Johnny and
killed
June,
her.
right?
Well, I think that's the Cannibal Corpse. How that song was the fucked with a knife. That's how that song was inspired by Cannibal Corpse. I'm just.
You're probably the only one who knows Cannibal Corpse here.
I've heard
I do
the name.
because I went to like like an Ozfest concert, and like I brought my lady. Like I really love metal and rock, and brought her, bring her to a sausage fest. What an awesome husband I am, And we're there on the second stage,
All eyes on her.
Cannibal Corpse, and we're there. We're in the pit, and like the singer goes, after just thrashing. This next song goes out to all the ladies out there.
That one.
It's called "Fucked with a Knife," and all the guys are screaming. Like we're like, "Ah,
Run!
and it was like a
Maybe we should
shredding
go,
song,
honey.
But
Perfect
hey,
time to get a beer.
that's the kind of couples you want to see playing music. I mean, they went through some experiences right there.
That's nice of you to take her to Valentine's Day concert like
I
that.
know. I got mucho brownie points. for that
Valentine's
still our
one.
romantic
anniversary.
Yeah, I was seeing Britney Spears for the next year
chivalry.
straight to make up for that.
Next
one.
year, Ozfest.
Man.
Young love. Yeah. Hey, all you teenage boys out there, that's not a good first date to take your lady to Ozfest. And it could work out all right. Actually, it's a good bonding experience.
But
you
if
have
she'll
to have
go,
it-
marry her.
if she goes, marry her. And if she can laugh at that,
And
that-
say goodbye to half
yeah.
your stuff.
definitely.
Dig your claws in,
Marry
dude.
you.
That's a
Yeah,
keeper.
That's a keeper, right there.
She'll put up with a lot.
But if she can mosh harder than you,
Well, at least she likes to watch.
that's cool.
Ooh. Hey,
Wait
What
a
do you
sec.
know?
What's going on here?
I don't know, but hey.
Okay, I think it's time to pick on somebody else now.
All of our loyal fans know these two bastards pretty well. Jeremy,
Yes.
And we've
they
told
know
a lot of
Jeremy
stories.
talked for like an
stories.
hour, basically.
Yeah, the
first episode.
podcast I did, I listened back to it, and I'm like, this is just, I can't listen. It was just me talking for like 2 hours. I'm
It was like an 1
somebody
hour.
shut this guy up.
And
It was
then
bad.
Ryan's been on 4 times. He's got his little bit in, but we could go play some music.
yeah, I think
What do you
that's
guys think?
that's
Yeah,
where
I'm-
that's how
I'm-
everybody talks best here. I think. I mean,
I think we ought to have another shot
let's
first.
see what
You
happens.
guys want to do
You
another
know
shot
what, though? Maybe
go
real
for
quick.
Oh,
What's
okay.
everybody listening to this week?
this week?
What's in your head?
All them witches.
Yeah, I like those.
Some tasty. I don't know what genre I'd put it in, but blues. A lot of good blues, stoner rock. Pretty
Yeah.
cool stuff. They
It's like heavy
Nice.
stoner
Heavy
blues.
stoner blues. Yeah.
Fu-
Jimi
got
Hendrix.
some
They do a
fuzz.
pretty good
yeah.
Jimi Hendrix cover, "Born Under a Bad Sign."
What about
Like that kind of vibe going into the rockin' Sabbathy.
What about you, Jeremy? What's this week for you?
I've just been listening to a lot of Little Feat this week.
Little Feet week.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's
That's
kind of
always good,
normal for
yeah.
me, I guess.
Yeah.
Which one?
Waiting for Columbus a lot, and I like the Dixie Chicken records. Just kind of.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Class.
You listen to them as an album when you listen to.
I usually do. Yeah, I put them on, and then I'm just kind of doing. They're kind of
They're an album.
background, but they're not. I'm listening.
To it as a full statement.
So yeah.
What about you, Ryan? This week,
This week for me has been the Budos band.
Budos.
And it just kind of opened up in Spotify where I'm listening to all these other guys. I was asking Steve if he's heard of some of the guys that
Is that old funk?
Well, they're new funk, but kind of interesting. They kind of we were talking about surf and some of they kind of dip into that a bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
BUDOS?
But so I've been BUDOS.
Budos band? Cool.
Yeah, very cool, very funky. But on Spotify, it's amazing that we have something like Spotify now with the related artists and stuff like that. I
Do you
start
pay
looking
for the
into.
account, or do you go for the free account?
No, I dug in on that one. I went premium or whatever.
Full premium.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I went premium on the Rhapsody. It's good.
Dude.
It's fair, man.
$10 a month is
$10 a
well
month.
spent.
That's hard
Yeah.
to beat.
And it sounds good. You can
Oh,
adjust
yeah.
the quality.
You can get the
and-
320 kbps. If
You
the
convert
high
it to
quality,
the
yeah.
400,
yes.
the 437 or the 444 hertz.
Just
No,
crank
at all?
no, nobody
Whatever.
does that.
Yeah, they do.
No, I
Oh,
don't
with
think
the
so.
can you do it on there?
I think an Apple has the converter now, so you can convert your
I
music to
I
that.
I
haven't
don't
seen
think
it
you
on
can do that.
Yeah, you
Spotify.
can. Apple has a
You
plug-in
can convert
converter.
it to 432.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really on
You can.
Spotify?
Oh no,
Okay,
not
that's
through
what I'm
Spotify.
saying.
Through,
Yeah,
but if you have
through,
the I don't have a premium account through them.
Through
I don't,
like
I don't
some
know.
third-party
But
app
I
or
think
something.
through
you do it.
through iPod.
Nobody
through Apple
knows what
you
he's
can.
talking about. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
you
it.
do.
I can barely check my email. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Steve and I are still
He's-
trying to
he's
figure out how to get into our phone.
Well, after you talk about your music of the week, maybe we can.
this phone takes
later talk about
photographs?
the
Get outta here.
Where do I plug this thing
We'll
in?
see if we get to it.
Yeah.
All right, what's your music of the week, Steve? You been listening to anything?
No, actually, I just been listening to the Giants and the Warriors mostly.
So
Which is going on right now.
so you got a
right?
lot of ba-na-na-na-na.
Area sport.
I got all the organ dun 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 dun. dun. Yeah, I listen to a lot of that.
If you hear any of that tonight, it's just been deeply ingrained.
I'll sneak it in there somehow.
Yeah, and you will
What
for
about
sure.
you, Tone?
For me, it's been the band all week, really.
Yeah.
The Last Waltz recently was on Netflix, so we've watched it like 3 times.
Isn't
Van
that
likes
Van's
it.
favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Last Waltz is cool, man. I just love listening to Robbie Robertson sing on all those songs. You just
Yeah.
watch it and you can just see him singing. It's hard to
I
hear.
mean, veins are just popping out of his neck, and yeah.
But The Last Waltz is good. I mean,
Has anyone soloed his track? I mean, they have all the multi-tracks of all those. They've done several huge multi-track live recordings.
where they erase or can eliminate.
Yeah.
Like the Beatles, Abbey Road, they do
Totally.
because, and they get rid of the vocals,
Right.
Or
Or
get
the
rid of
music,
the
yeah.
instrumental,
Just have
and
him solo.
Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, they did it to Linda McCartney, right?
Have you ever
And
on
it's
a-
pretty
Yeah,
legendary, but
if you go on Spotify and you look up Richard
go into
Manuel,
that.
if you look up
only on
Richard
Multi-Yoga
Manuel on
Uno mix.
Spotify, you can find there's this gig with him and Rick Danko, and it's like a live gig. And there's the other guys playing too. No one in the band, just Richard Manuel and Rick Danko.
yeah.
And the vocals are way too loud. Like the whole show, the piano is like not even there. There's like one part during like the first song or maybe the second song where Richard Manuel's like, "Turn up the piano!" He's like yelling it in between.
They're probably
Like,
playing
sounds like a mumbo
small
gumbo
club,
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a small gig, but you listen to it and you're just like hearing what sounds like soloed vocals for like a brief period. It's pretty raw. It's pretty cool.
Nothing like running a podcast with a 300-pound pit bull next to you.
Cujo's back. So are we
He looks nice though.
you doing a live video stream tonight with Periscope? You
We're gonna do a live video. Yeah,
Oh, we are.
we're gonna do it. Periscope.
So how's that work?
guys got your makeup crew here tonight?
It
Think
works
so.
like
Van.
you run the app on your phone. I have a board feed that I'm gonna run into the phone.
Like a
And-
stereo feed or
no,
something?
mono.
or-
We're going mono for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it does stereo, but we're doing mono.
We're not going
That's
quite
fine.
Ebola level. We're going
Yeah.
mono. tonight.
Just mono.
You know, we don't want the HIV entering in. That's just a little bit too much fidelity for us.
But yeah, you guys ready to get in there and make some
Yeah.
noise?
Get our game faces on.
I need to wash
Yeah.
this
It's
beer
the
off
bottom
my
of the
hand
night.
first.
It's cool.
You're going to do an organ theme.
I'll do that. Yep.
We'll hose down the table.
Yeah.
Exploding beers that
Have
Tony
one more
surprised us
shot.
with.
Yeah.
All right, let's jam it out, guys. Thanks for
right.
tuning in.
Okay.
I think we got to do another celebratory shot, huh?
You guys want to do one? Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was fun.
Everybody grab their mics and breathe in.
Okay.
Brain is just like
Wow.
fried after that. I think sitting front and center in that shit. I feel like I just got in a boxing match.
Can you still
right in the
hear?
middle.
No.
Still got any?
My hearing's pretty like half probably.
Your rainbow
Doing
colored in-ear piece.
It's a good hurt.
Isn't working right now?
Where's my little bag?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. That's the same volume I play like on an outdoor stage. I looked
Yeah,
at my amp. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, we were rocking it. I was hitting
Sorry,
hard to
neighbors
keep up with the
and
volume.
everybody else in the room.
Well,
No, I mean, I think it.
every
needs
time
to
you
go
add an
there.
instrument, it cranks up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
So-
using my AC30 at like probably 60, 70%. We had it juiced up pretty good.
Yeah,
It sounded
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I had it cranked up pretty much all the time.
So, what'd you think, Sir Stizzo, of the mystery school?
Jeez. I usually use earplugs when I play with some of these other guys I play with. So I'll remember to bring my earplugs next time.
So you should have brought. you should have brought your protective gear tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm way beyond that.
We had the Gallagher
It's
splashback.
way too late for me.
We smashed a watermelon in your face.
Well, earplugs won't change the wrong notes we play.
Nah, I wish they did. I'd wear them all the time.
If only.
Those would be beer plugs.
Yeah, beer plugs. That's what I need. Yeah,
Yeah, to hang out with us guys, you need some beer plugs.
yeah. I'm beginning to realize that.
We got pretty out there tonight.
Yeah. So, do you feel that we did you justice coming on here, or are you embarrassed? To
I was worried
hang out
about
with
me
us?
doing not screwing you guys up.
You were.
No. But after about the first 15 minutes of the first jam, I figured this is like this is a Grateful Dead thing. Yeah, I've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Anything
There was nothing
goes.
planned.
Whenever I got confused, I just got up, came into the house, and got a piece of pizza and another beer, and came back out.
I had like
Reset.
I had a lot of like chord charts we could have used, but we didn't get to any of it. We like freestyled the whole night.
When
really.
there's 5 people, it's hard to follow chords. I noticed.
Yeah.
Right? We were doing the one, and it's like, well, unless everybody's really sure of that
Yeah,
progression.
I pretty much just follow the dominant guy. Whoever's playing the loudest on guitar, it's playing the chords. That's the guy I follow.
Yep.
Yo.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's like, wait, are we? Is that second chord? Is that a minor?
Yeah.
A major?
Yeah, see, if it was
One
that
person's
important to
doing a
begin
minor,
with,
one
we would have had a
person's doing a major.
rehearsal.
yeah,
You know.
that's
And
true.
a couple of times it just completely shifted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
We ended up in a whole other space.
So
Which
if
is
this was
good.
a band, what would you call it?
feedback.
oh this
Tony?
band it is absolutely it was a jam band. This is a jam thing here.
So you'd call it peanut butter and jammers, famous jug band.
No, I could probably think of something a little more crude.
Nice.
Yeah, because it wasn't really granola crunching.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
It was
jam
pretty
band.
heavy too.
yeah. It was pretty close to the Jerry Garcia type of thing.
Yeah.
But
I'd call it
we were-
Sludge Garcia.
And that's why I asked what everybody's been listening to this week, because I feel like the cool thing about this show is just whatever. I mean, I've done this, I guess, maybe 3 or 4 times now, and every time it's like I can look back and listen to that and be like, what was I listening to that week? That's a totally different thing. And just, when it's open and you're just jamming, it's you just kind of move the waters whatever
Yeah.
way you've been taught that week, whatever's in your head.
We've done a few episodes of this with Ryan. They kind of came out like Jeff Beck-ish. Probably some of your Jeff Beck weeks.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Jeremy sometimes brings like a country rock style.
I could see that.
yeah,
A little more country.
Yep. That wasn't a compliment.
Oh, shit.
I'll tell
Oh,
you
the
what,
bad country. Uh-oh.
Jeremy turned
Big
me on
country.
to
Yeah.
so much cool stuff when we were in high school. I talked to Jeremy, but I've always been kind of into like the more like jazz, Hendrix, Chicago thing, and I was
Yeah.
my dad totally listened to Little Feat and Allman Brothers and all this country stuff, and I didn't totally get it yet. And I think because of the grunge influence at the time, you know, on the mainstream, and Jeremy was listening to all that stuff, and man, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for him, I would have never heard of Government Mule and all these bands.
Oh, yeah.
That appreciation, and also to understand where it blends and where you find that medium between Dirk Trucks and Allman Brothers and all those bands.
Yeah.
But Jeremy's taken me and a lot of our people to school on music and how to appreciate, you know, different corners of the world when it comes to music.
Yeah, sometimes you just need somebody to just, you know, here, give a listen to this, and it just opens up from there. You know, okay, yeah, I heard this now. Oh yeah, and these guys sound really good too. You know, just like Little Feat opens up Government Mule, which opens up this and that and the other thing. You know,
where does it connect?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, it all connects in the chords.
Yep.
They're all the same. They're not playing anything different. They're all playing the same chords.
Yeah.
And it's just the way they approach it. Like the Allman Brothers and the difference between the Allman Brothers and like Little Feat or somebody like that. They're the same chords. They're playing the same chords, but just a totally different approach.
Yep.
Different rhythmic attacks and stuff. But you can take the same 3 chords or 4 chords that Little Feat uses and listen to Guns N' Roses do those same 3 chords. You go, holy
Nirvana.
cow, there is no comparison.
Yeah.
You know, Guns N' Roses suck. You know, you guys are playing 3 chords, and you listen to Little Feat or Steely Dan playing the same 3 chords, and it's night and day. You know, so it's you know, you would think that everything has been done to death, you know, over the period of time that, you know, there's only 12 notes in music and so many thousands of chords. You know, from day one, you would think that this stuff would overlap, but it doesn't. There's just so much stuff that still hasn't been written yet.
1,440 overtones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think it's all been.
But yeah, then you add in the equation of the rhythms.
Yeah.
All the different rhythms, and it's just
Unlimited possibilities.
it's amazing that it has nothing has been really redone yet, except
And everything has been redone.
yeah. Some of it should be redone.
So
Yeah.
okay, you got the like with the blues like 1-4-5, right?
That basically, yeah.
So much of that's 1-4-5. What do you think are some of the best like chord progressions that are kind of basic?
You know, most of the best chord progressions, I think, start basically 1-4-5. But you look at like Steely Dan that will take you know, a simple Ruby Ruby, which is a 1-4-5 progression,
right.
and they just change the chords around.
Like invert the chords?
Invert the chords, just use the substitute chords instead of playing a C, they'll play an A minor, or play an A flat 7, the major 7, whatever. There's just a lot of variables involved.
Yeah.
You can take a 1-4-5. In fact, one guitar player that's real good at that is Robin Ford, who is excellent at taking like a basic blues thing and just like flipping it upside down.
Yeah.
You know, take a 12-bar blues. You don't think that there's anything more that you can do with that, but you listen to somebody like Robin Ford, that can just flip it all around.
Yeah, his approach to the blues is definitely leans much more towards a
Jazz.
you
Yeah.
know, thing.
Which I like.
Cool.
That shows a lot of imagination
Yeah, definitely.
and a lot of talent. I hate him.
I think he's playing in town soon.
Yeah, he's
Did he
tomorrow
just
night.
come?
No,
Oh, is
not tomorrow night. This Saturday night, I think.
Oh wow.
He's not
Where?
a nice guy.
Yeah, I opened up for him, as a matter of fact, years ago with Ronnie Godfrey. Remember Ronnie Godfrey, guitar
that
player?
name sounds really
Yeah,
familiar.
real like
Godfrey.
out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I opened up for him at Powerhouse Pub,
Oh wow.
and I took Dan Evans with me because I thought, you know, he would like to listen to Robin Ford.
Yeah.
So we played like a set, and Ronnie Godfrey, you know, Ronnie's strutting around like, yeah, you know, try and beat this.
I owned it.
Robin Ford came up with 3 guys. He had a bass player that had a 6-string bass, and a drummer, and Robin Ford, and that's it. And those guys they sounded like five guys.
Wow.
It was just amazing.
Yeah.
But Ronnie Godfrey was still strutting around like, I think I got him this time. I don't think he can play Stormy Monday like I did. No, Ronnie, he plays it correctly.
That's amazing, though. You know, you think about blues music, country music. It's all 1-4-5. Simple stuff that the melodies all work over. That's like the best melodies are in that.
Yeah.
You try to throw an abstract chord, and it's like that kind of
Yeah.
lost it for me. You
Doesn't
know?
fit, yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. You know.
But you can throw substitute chords in there that will work. Instead of playing a seventh chord, you play a seventh sus 7 chord.
Right.
That goes into that. But yeah, you don't really stray too much from that magic formula, that 1-4-5.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it just depends on what you hear. You know, you hear it and you hear it. If it sounds rotten, it probably is rotten. You know.
So what part of the rhythm inspires you to change the chord progression or invert the
Rhythm can change the whole feel of the song by just by where the accents are. You know, instead of boom boom chink boom 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 chink boom boom like on a drummer, you can go chicka chicka chink chicka chink that doom that chink. You know, and the drummer, that's up to the drummer. That there's no other instruments involved. It's just from changing it from basic boom boom chink boom 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 chink to a boom to chink to chink. That's all a drummer. There's no other instruments involved there. It just depends on how you attack it. Changes the whole feel of it.
Yeah. Changes everybody from there. How you play to it. as well.
Oh yeah.
So-
That affects everybody from the bass player on down to how you're going to approach the solo. You know.
So do you like it when a drummer affects the progression? Or
I love it. Yeah. If the drummer knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I played with some drummers before that they will start that and then all of a sudden they go back into the ching 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 ching. You know. I mean, if you're going to start something, you're going to, listen,
you gotta
wait for
finish
everybody
your
else to
sentence,
catch
but-
up with you and expand on it.
There you go.
Don't just
There
like,
you go.
Don't
oh yeah,
have
well
Without
these
the
guys aren't
thought.
catching on. I'm going back to ching 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 ching. You know.
So, Steve, who are some of the guys now that you see coming up that you find kind of musically inspiring that are doing something a little different? I mean, we talk about blues, and you can always kind of find a little something in there that you can tweak on it.
You know, I haven't really heard anybody in the last 5 years that has been doing anything else. I
Except the mystery school.
listen to where I've heard like Bruno Mars or something, people like that, but they're mostly show people. It's all showmanship, and they're smart enough to have a good producer or manager that will hook them up with a good band to make them look good.
Would you call that performance art or bubblegum pop?
Boy, that's tough. I would think that's more bubblegum pop.
Okay.
Unless you go to
Yes.
unless you go to his concert and you see him jumping around, then you go, okay, yeah, that could be performance art, but
But next to the wall, it's
yeah.
basically
I mean,
a
there's so
flaming
much
turret
stuff.
on the doorstep ringing a doorbell.
All this stuff that is out is there's so many there's so much auto-tune stuff going on.
And it's been done before. It's not the possibility.
Absolutely. It's
of,
all been done before, and all these
It's not
these rap
necessarily like
artists
what you were saying
that
to be.
can't come up with an original idea, they'll use an old Steely Dan, the peg.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
But that's part
they
of it
just
where
talk
they
about
should
robbing
be.
somebody
They should
over
be
it.
keeping it going
Yeah.
on. So they're paying homage. They're
Yeah.
keeping that
Yeah.
music going on.
yeah.
But at the same time, some of it's a bastardized version
Yeah.
of it. They're not quite getting there.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Bruno
just a-
Mars, he's just a fake Michael Jackson.
Oh, sure,
right?
he is.
Bubble,
yeah.
you know? So like people that like that, it's you hear
Yeah,
a little bit of
just like
something. but-
Madonna when she came out, she's like an old. She was a young Cher at that time, and all
Who was
this
Jimi
stuff has been
Hendrix?
done before,
So I guess
Who would you call Jimi Hendrix?
huh?
Who would you call Jimi Hendrix? A young.
Oh, young Robert Johnson, maybe.
That music's out of fashion. I mean, Hendrix had pop songs on the radio, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
huge hit songs, and I mean, that stuff's pretty out there, as far
Yeah,
as
yeah.
pop music.
In that era, it was much more like
Yeah.
where you had the top 40 hit from
Yeah.
Beatles to Hendrix.
don't
Also, did
really
like
hear
Les
anything
Paul,
like
a
he had
wide
all that.
variety of
You know,
music.
who
at
would
that
have known
time.
that Les Paul, with which he was real popular back in the early '50s with his wife Mary Ford at that time. who would have known that this guy was a genius that inventing sound-on-sound recording and basically reinvented the electric guitar after Leo Fender did. So, so he was just doing pop music just to keep his other hobby going, basically.
So playing organ, that's kind of like the intermediate instrument. That's kind of like pulling in the vibe of the guitar, the bass, the drums. It's not quite rhythm section. It's not quite lead. What's your methodology to become like a good organ player, and what are you hearing to kind of vibe on?
When I'm playing organ, I'm listening to pretty much the guitars or and their intervals or their how they're playing their chords, their inversions, I should say. So a guitar player will play like a C chord, and the E will be the top note. So I will listen. I will hear that, and I'll play a C chord with the E on the top. So I'm not copying him, and that makes it a fuller chord.
And that lies in the framework for your accents.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
Tap into the whatever the rhythm section is doing.
Yeah, and I'll listen to what the guitar player is playing. Sometimes he'll put in a fill or something when the vocal lays out. The guitar player will throw in a fill. If he does a short fill, I'll listen to that, and I'll do the last half of that fill.
It's a conversation piece where you're answering and talking back.
Yeah, the main thing is to don't get in the way of anybody else. If the guitar player's playing a fill, just hold the bottom for him, and vice versa. When I'm doing a fill, get the hell out of my way.
That's one thing about us guitar players. It's like we always take that, where that fill is going to be.
Yeah.
The guitar players always take it,
Yeah.
Like
always.
bastards, Good point. So the keyboard player always has to play like on.
Yeah, we usually have to come in there and take it hostage because they won't give it up. They've got it by the neck with a knife to it. I'm taking a solo.
Well, it'd suck to have a guitar player in your band.
Guitar players are a necessary evil in a band. Yeah.
So in jamming with 5 people, like a drummer, like I draw on a lot of different inspiration for where the jam's going to go.
No.
Playing organ, is there one instrument in particular or vibe that is going to inspire you? What you're going to do next? Is it a weighted average, all parts equal? Or
I listen to everything. I try to listen to everything that's going on around me. Sometimes I'll play a solo and get lost in that and not realize that I'm totally losing the feel.
What calls you back into to know when to wrap it up?
Usually a drumstick in the back of the head.
So it's like that good signal of the feel to bring it back to the
usually,
top.
Either that or I just run out of ideas to play. I go, oh, geez, now what? And you go, oh, yeah, I guess I've been at this for like 10 minutes. It's time to give it up to somebody else.
I guess it's time to grab a beer.
But I listen to the drummer a lot. And, if he's doing a certain pattern, myself being a drummer of sorts, that I can play that percussive type of thing on an organ anyway.
Is that your first point then with the organ? Is very rhythmically?
It's more percussive than piano. Yeah,
that's how I play the bass or guitar. Is like I play it right riffs rhythmically, being a drummer mind, and then do the chords or ambiance at second. Is the organ kind of the same way?
I'll listen to the drummer and sometimes I'll play the opposite of him. Okay. Not during the song or anything, but during the solo.
If you're feeling the spaces and
just to make it interesting instead of just like droning on, like most organ players do. They'll just drone on a chord.
Yeah, on the one.
And if I can hear the drummer doing I can play it.
I think that was my challenge tonight as the drummer of like staying in that mindset where you were answering me.
Yeah,
because I hear a guitar riff go on and then I try to snag onto it and bring it to light. And then I haven't played with many organ players, so I had to realize I tried to answer what you were doing in one spot, and I was like, no, wait, that's not the right choice to make. We have to stay on the offs where like he's answering me right now. He doesn't want to take the lead. Don't echo that. dynamic.
Yeah.
Stay on the rhythm of the guitar or the bass, and he's going to echo you.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting.
Well, I would have
learning
been more
experience
on the
for me.
ball for that had I not been eating pizza and drinking beer at the same time. Normally, I pay more attention to what's going on.
Sometimes taking that time away and then coming back to the music gives a whole new fresh perspective, and it's an awesome take to come in. I didn't have any complaints when you walked in. We had something going, and that fresh perspective, you added to it, it amplified it, took it somewhere different. That's what you want with a jam.
I just
Something
feel
like
so
that-
selfish right now because I've never thought about all these things that you guys are talking about as a guitar player.
And you really
I
don't
was
have
thinking
to
about
as a
the other guitar player.
How's this beer? This beer's pretty good.
Well, I would
This
give
beer
it,
tastes good.
as a sports
Can the other
analogy,
guitar
like
player
a
get me another
basketball
beer so I
team.
don't step over him?
The guitar player is kind of like, for a sports analogy, like a basketball team, is kind of like the center, the Kembe Mutombo, just slam dunking. Not in my house, where like organ, bass, drums are like the point guards. They're listening. They're like
Totally.
trying to
Set the
play to the level of
foundation,
who the musicians around them. Whether it's sloppy musicians, you've got to play sloppy and make them sound better. If they're super tight, you have to get into that super tight vibe and listen.
And you have to keep rhythm for a long period of time.
assist.
We can just stop and walk away and go get a beer.
yeah.
Doing my solo.
Yeah.
An artistic part.
That is what's tough about drums is, you stop playing, and bass is the same way. You stop playing and everybody notices,
Well, that's my
Yeah.
favorite thing
Guitar,
too.
you
is,
just
like,
ring out a chord.
I keep going
and
with the
drink a
drums.
beer,
Just people don't, people aren't looking at me funny. And like I can keep a good vibe in between people tuning and keep the progression here where they're going through listening.
It's hard to
That's
get Dustin to
what you
quit.
want to do. Yeah, I don't want to quit. I want to be the ginseng drummer.
Oh, yeah.
It's nonstop, keeping a rhythm. Unless somebody goes, no, wrap it up. We're going to do a new vibe. But like if I can keep a little interlude while the tuning song, people are tuning, and then go to feel what the spacing between the notes
That's why we
are.
got so many
can-
online followers.
Yeah, it's all because of me.
He just wouldn't quit. And
Haters want to hate.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you think the live broadcast went?
I think there were a few
Periscope,
people who
right?
had a good time.
Periscope.
I forgot. it was
we had a
even up
good
there.
time.
That's
We
all
had
matters.
a great
No,
time, but
You think it got to Africa?
it's
Jamaica.
possible.
Jamaica.
Jamaica was the one.
Yeah, this was
favored.
broadcasted live over the internet. Some people watched it and liked it. Some people immediately tuned away.
Yeah.
But
I'm imagining if Jamaica tuned in while I was on bass and heard my fake white reggae.
We did a
thing I was
section of
playing.
reggae right there. We did
They're
a couple
probably-
vibes in there.
Yeah, they're probably tuning off real quick.
We did
Whoa.
we did two reggae segments. When you were on the guitar, we had a reggae one, kind of
Yeah.
led by the organ,
Yeah.
and like we went there, and then another one when you were on the bass.
Jams kind of lead to that reggae thing, right? Eventually,
I think
every,
so. Yeah.
As they
it's
should.
kinda-
But
Why-
we could
why
have
do you think
doubled
that
the
is?
audience by wearing sequins.
yeah, we could have
Sequins
Devo
would have
hats.
changed the whole feel of it. Then
You see my bag?
But Jeremy, why do you think
Yeah.
that is? Why do you think jams? Why do you think they lead to the reggae vibe? What's
I just think that's like the natural rhythm that you feel eventually once
Slow it down.
playing
on the
so
three
many
like
things,
the
and then
kick,
you're kind
where
of out
like
of
everybody
ideas.
can time into that upbeat.
Yeah.
Even
sick
white
of
people,
even the person that can barely count the
It's funny
four
you say
can
that
go
'cause I
one,
always end up.
two. He can feel
So
that.
instead of the
Yeah.
tuning song, it's the tempo song.
Yeah,
almost. Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
tempos everybody in. Like,
and then,
okay,
and then,
let's
then the more
recalibrate
advanced
where we
the-
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that they graduated sixth grade can go dun, 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 and then the high school grads can go and college people wouldn't listen to that anyway. So
That's a funny
they graduate. Yeah, they go
analogy
into
you
something
made
else.
with, like the college and music. Because like I tell my kids, like the bubblegum pop or like listening to that
Yeah.
kind of music, the popular music, that's almost like that's elementary school music.
Yes,
You know, the
yeah.
kids like it, and then you go into the high school music where it's like maybe metal or something
Yeah.
a little bit, and then you get into that college music, the jazz or the progressive
Yeah.
experimental. It's like, how intelligent are you of a
Yeah.
musical listener? And, I mean, that's popular
Theoretically,
music,
yeah,
never
you
really
should
gets
evolve.
by.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the average listener, they're
Yeah.
the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
They never progress past that age of like, that's why kids like it. Maybe. I mean, that's just my
Yeah,
observation
no,
of having
I
kids
think
and
you're
like seeing
right.
what they like, because they like all the stuff I play for them, but it's just naturally, give them a good ear. They like this bullshit on the radio. It's just catchy.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, it's
meant for that
repetitive, too, right?
repetitive, yeah. elementary ear, and then you catch, I want something more. Let's go to high school musically.
Well, it took me a while to figure out that nobody has that most people don't have my ear for music. There's maybe 40 or 50% of people that don't really, they'll listen to "Don't Worry, Be Happy,"
Right.
all day.
Yeah.
Or it's all about the bass, about the,
Well, so
Yeah.
as a musician, liking musicians' music, how do you create music that people will like without using the prescribed key progressions to make a love song? Keep it fresh, but find that happy medium.
I don't really write that type of popular stuff, and I'm not putting that stuff down. Obviously there's a huge market for that, and people love it. That's why the Grammy Awards are full of that crap. But it's just not my cup of tea. But what I'm doing now, and I have been doing for the last 5 years, is I've got a writing partner, Jerry Jennings, guitar player here in Sacramento, that has a studio, and we hook up with these music publishing companies that are looking for Italian songs for a movie or TV show or something like that.
Okay.
And they get in touch with us. We're like, we need a French cafe scene, background music for 2.5 minutes. So we're in competition with everybody, all these other songwriters in the world, basically.
Wow.
And we've been submitting this stuff for the last 2 or 3 years, and we've got 35 of them that are being used. Some of them on American TV, this Discovery Channel, History Channel.
Awesome.
We had a little 30-second blurb on The Price is Right. All sorts of stuff.
So then you'll take a suggestion and then
I
basically
get a
write
check
a
with
song
them.
that you like ultimately.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You're not writing it for anybody else.
Nope.
You write it 'cause you
we
like
own
it on this vein.
Yeah, we own the rights to the song. They have the right to market it to whoever, wherever they want. And the first time I got a check was a couple of years ago. I went,
so
wow,
cool.
This is really cool. So I get a check every 3 months now.
Awesome. You got
And,
your royalties in the
and-
mail, man.
yeah.
You're living the artist's dream.
Right across
Yeah.
the street there.
And you're doing and you're writing music you like.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's
finding ears that
not
like
really
what you
music
do.
I like, but it's a challenge because they'll say, we need something that sounds. We need a Russian song for this documentary, and I'll just come up with something like that. And a lot of times I'd
Play some Tetris, get some Russian music inspiration.
Yeah, basically Russian. Okay, minor. Okay, you got to play it in a minor key.
Right.
You got to make it real depressing. And a French,
of
we got
tequila, you're
a
drinking
French
some vodka.
cafe scene. Okay, get the accordion out and, and make it a waltz. Yeah. So I just gave away all my.
What's your
good
favorite
secrets.
time signature?
So, Steve, watching music evolve over the years, you've seen such a progression of music, and you also have the insight from your dad,
Yeah.
who saw his lifetime of music progress and
Yeah.
what's popular and what evolves. Where do you see us going now? Where do you see the next 10 years with music? 20? Is it electric? Is it acoustic? Is it plugged
I see
in?
a lot of electric. I see a lot of electronic stuff, but there is still a small segment. If you go to some of these jazz festivals that in high schools in the Bay Area, they're still teaching these kids how to play music, not teaching them how to sing into a microphone and auto tune it, and So I think there's hope. I remember. Back in the early 60s, well, heck, I remember the early 50s when Elvis came out, everybody thought, that's the end of that. There goes, we're used to Frank Sinatra and all this pretty stuff, and all of a sudden Elvis comes out, and that just changed music completely, and everybody panicked. They go, oh, geez, yeah, this is going to hell. And then the Beatles came out, and they did the same thing. But actually, each time something like that happens, it actually gets better.
Inspires somebody,
Yeah, towards the end of the 60s, then we got Chicago and a lot of other good instrumental bands. So I think it does get good, except people tend to go towards the shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, every
You know?
time.
And that's what keeps
It's a big
what
business
keeps top
now,
40
right?
music going. Is
It's about creating memories. I feel like, everything mainstream is about people that listen to that, you were talking about that 40, 50% that really listen to music and really kind of think about, do I like this or not? And
yeah.
am I listening it because I like the way it sounds and I'm
Yeah.
trying to appreciate it versus I'm just putting this on to create a mood.
Yeah. Or I like this because all my friends like it.
Yeah.
Everybody else
create a
is listening to
moment.
this, and I must be an idiot if I don't like this.
It's rare that people, I feel like it's rare that people actually listen to something to appreciate the way that it sounds.
Yeah.
It's a mood. It's a mood creation.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I like in country-wise. I think Dwight Yoakam is, he's like the best. I love Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, he's
Jeremy,
one of my favorites.
Tell him about when you met Dwight Yoakam.
So we opened for him. Dwight's manager is from Sacramento.
Yeah, huh?
They're California. Or,
Yeah, because I knew
eventually-
Scott Joss, who was,
Right.
he did some a lot of stuff recording with Scott
Scott's
Joss.
amazing too, man. What a great.
Oh, yeah.
talented
Yeah,
dude
he's a
that
great
guy
guy.
is.
Scott, you need a drummer?
Scott is a
Fiddle player.
plays mandolin
Yeah.
well, guitar, and
Real good.
good
Yeah,
singer.
yeah,
But he was in Dwight's band for years.
yeah,
during all their big, real successful.
yeah. Streets of
stuff.
Bakersfield and all that. When
Oh, yeah,
when
you
he
bet.
came out and
Right.
was
The
really
story,
big deal.
Jeremy.
Oh, the story. All right.
Yeah,
So anyway, so we opened for Dwight House of Blues in Chicago, and so,
Was this before or
and,
after the beer quota kicked in?
Oh, this is way before. This is pretty early on. This is probably
So that's how the memory is a little
2006
hazy.
Yeah.
or- no, 2005.
You had full carbonation, optimal.
We were drinking this night, trust me. Because Dwight Yoakam was one of my heroes, and I
Oh,
grew
yeah.
up. Those were like the first songs I sang with my dad's band.
yeah.
Were
Yeah.
like "Fast as You" and "1,000 Miles
Yeah.
from Nowhere," all these songs,
Yeah.
right? And so it was a big part of my life. And anyway, so I'm like, oh, cool, I get to meet Dwight, cool, and the manager's like, yeah, what are you gonna talk to him about, And I'm like, well, I was just gonna tell him, he's been a big influence
Yeah.
on me, cool. And he's like, okay. So Dwight
They
comes
screened
out.
your conversation.
Yeah, totally. And Dwight comes out and he's like, hey, guys, thanks for opening the show. Cool. Glad to have you. And so I gave my spiel. Hey, man, I grew up singing your songs in bars, and thanks, man. It's, cool to be here opening for you. He's like, yeah, those are great songs. It's like, oh, okay.
So he had a long
Great-
arm to pat himself on
Great
the back.
choice.
That guy did a good job of writing those songs. I'm paying him a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, that's me.
Well, like Bowie told Adrian Belew, like playing with him, like, what should I do? Like, well, you either play my song and make it better than it is, or just do it your way, right? These are great songs. Just play my song the way it should be, or make it better. And
Makes sense.
yeah, that's a
easy
quote that kind of
direction.
sticks with you. Yeah, but I think
Dwight
that's what any
said.
band leader would want.
Yeah, that is good advice. Like if you're having someone come play on your stuff, like when they're looking for direction, well, just play it and make it better. It's all we want. Oh, okay.
Well, guys, I mean, another fantastic Mystery School episode. I would call this one the Dreamcast. I mean, I've been talking about getting Ryan and Jeremy on together recently,
fun.
and I've been talking about getting Sir Stizzo on here since before. Since before we even podcasted, I wanted to get Steve over here just to jam with me and Tony. And we're like, wait, well, we kind
Since you were broadcasting in Telegraph, huh?
yeah. I mean,
Since
we
long
were
time
recording
ago.
on cassette tape. Yeah, from the time we were recording, and we are like, yeah, we'll
8-track
get
tape.
good enough to have him come over and play, with us. And now we got
Morse
Stump
code,
Stizzo
man.
on the Mystery School. We Morse coded him from across the street. Finally, sent the the mind control sound waves into his head to where
A
he's
note
like,
on a
"What-
rock.
What's going on over there?
Got
He
it.
came over here. He chiseled in the mystery school sacred
Underground
tablet.
tunnel, right?
He's got his piece on the wall now, and so now archaeologists will dig this up one day and find the Stizzo record
Yeah,
in the
they still
mystery
won't
school
know what the hell
broadcast.
that means, but
On the return of Ryan Moore and the return of Jeremy Plog as well. So this was a cool night.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Hopefully
I haven't played with
everybody
Jeremy in
enjoyed
10
this.
years, so I was very excited to do that.
Yeah, you guys are
And I've
like
never
old
seen
friends too.
Tony
So
just totally just blow up a bottle. So that was cool too.
yeah, Tony was in there in the vibe. I mean, I think he was trying to like do the synchronized Blue Oyster Cult guitar moves with you in there. If we had a microphone up there to sing, we would have been singing some dual harmonies on one microphone.
Does he do those moves when you're not streaming video? I'm wondering.
I wasn't
No,
fearing
that was
the
all
Reaper.
show.
Yeah, I knew
he
it.
wasn't fearing the Reaper. No.
No,
There were several times I thought I was going to get
Obviously
hooked by a tuning peg.
there was almost a few times you did, but you weren't even bobbing and weaving. You were just hanging in there. And you
It's
didn't
just
get-
like whatever you threw at me earlier.
Speaking of jam files, before we wrap this night up, is there any jam files that everybody wants to share?
I don't think I was loud enough.
You don't
Not
think-
being loud enough is a jam fail, or someone else being
I would
Yeah.
say that regardless
or someone else
of
being
who I
too
was
loud.
playing with.
Then
Yeah, that's the tree falling in a forest thing. I always make sure I'm heard.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Could've
I
never
played
happened,
was
right?
probably I'd like to redo it all, but yeah, you do have to be out there to be heard.
okay, so number one jam foul, not having your volume up high enough.
Yeah.
What would you
well,
say?
yeah, I would just say just that monitor setup. So
Bring a
that's,
100 watts.
But I didn't
100
expect
watts.
anything.
Well, so
Yeah.
then that's from a sound perspective, because sound is always
Yeah.
key. You want to get your sound tone.
Oh, yeah,
What about
music-
from
music
a
perspective?
Music perspective, yeah.
I got no complaints.
No, well, from you, a jam foul, like you being a composition guy. What's a jam foul when you're going through the compositions of the song? What really fucks everything up?
If I would have, it actually took me like 18 seconds to actually figure out the chords, but I wish I would have figured it out a little bit sooner. So
Not being well. You were you had your face to the wall, facing
Yeah.
the organ. So maybe jam foul number 2 is not being able to see the hands of the chord progression.
oh no, I don't mind that because
But you have perfect
on
pitch.
the other,
You can hear it,
On the
right?
other hand, the band can't see me either, and it's a very
And we
It's a
didn't even
win-win
play-
situation
We didn't even
there.
play the chords. We didn't even play the chords on the chart anyway.
no.
Yeah.
We just
Well,
had to listen.
Yeah, that's.
no,
what
I don't
would
need to
say.
see anything as long as I still got a little bit of my hearing left. No, I just listen.
So what would you say, Ryan? What's a jam foul?
Well, when you say jam foul, it's kind of funny because in a jam you can hit the wrong note and it can make sense sometimes and actually do a lot for the jam.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't qualify a sour note
my
as
opinion,
a jam
as
foul.
the wrong
That's just
note,
jamming.
it's usually half step off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Everything over a full
Well, that's
step
one of the
and
worst
on,
sounds.
you can
just,
you can make the
You hit a
Hard to
wrong
play
note.
that one
you're-
off.
Yeah,
it
9 out of 10 times
sucks.
you're half a step away from making a right note. So
Yeah.
it's a half
It's just
that
like-
half
I-
step that makes
I
it
Where
meant
can
to
you
do
take
that.
that
You
to
just
save
slide
it?
into
You
the
just
next
repeat
note.
Where do you
it,
go
right?
from there?
Jam
Repeat that
foul
note.
creates such an opportunity to like make a jam home run, but the jam foul for me is when you hit the wrong note. It's just like, oh, that sound. It's like,
Sometimes it
oh,
works, though.
shit.
Sometimes it works.
It hurts bad. It's how you recover, but that, and then also the not to throw two on here, but the port ending
That's
to
good.
a solo is always kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just sucks, and you kind of put it all on everybody else in the band to kind of lift that back up.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be international rules of jam to where, okay, you take a solo, okay, it's going to go in increments of 8. Okay, so if you
8
want to play a
bars.
short solo, 8 bars, you're out. If you keep playing, okay, you got
gotta
to
be
play till 16. If you keep going, okay, you're committed to 32 now. If you don't stop there, okay, 64.
you have
After that,
Give me a
We
solid
shoot ya.
start and a finish.
you're out of here.
That's
You're
when
out
the
of the
drumstick
band.
is flung
Bring
at your
me in,
head.
take
and
us
hopefully
out.
you're facing
Don't
the
just
wall.
go.
Yeah.
to continue.
You're not playing in your room by
drummer can
yourself,
put a
right?
halt to that too.
Yeah.
64 bars,
And it
get that
should.
stick ready, and boom, let it fly.
It's just the drummer can end it at any point, right?
Yep.
With just
Yeah.
the breakdown.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
then,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's like-
on the hi hat there, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
your solo's over.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I guess I'll skip you then, Jeremy, because that's a segue to the drummer. Is where a jam foul is where maybe you either end it too early, right? Where
Yep.
you silence somebody too quick, you don't let it expand and fully progress that
Yeah.
thought, or maybe you blow that load too early and you feel it. and you're-
Normally, it's
What do you mean by
you
blowing
gotta-
loads?
I mean, like, well, you hear that climax, you hear the
Yeah.
literally the climax of the song, and it's so exciting
Yeah.
because the jam, and you want to do that.
Yeah, and it's got to
But
be.
it's like, oh shit, I did that like
Yeah.
before the real,
Boom. That
and then you
should
have to
be
do
it.
it again the second time.
Yes.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't sound as cool that second
Yeah.
time. I already
Yeah.
blew it. Like, so it's like shit.
But being a drummer, you can control that. Although, like I said, it should be in increments of 8. Boom, boom. If you miss this 8, you gotta have
Yeah,
to go.
drummers
to the
are
next
very
16
cognizant
and-
of that math. Like when I go into
Yeah.
playing with someone who's been playing in their room for a long time, just that solo piano player or guitar player where they've been like just writing their own song, you got to really grit it out for them and go, hold on. You're playing in 4. Why are you doing it 3 times?
Yeah,
Let's make
yeah,
the math
yeah.
right. Do it 4
That drives
times.
me
right?
nuts.
You're
Yes.
playing in
Yeah.
3. Okay,
Absolutely.
Let's do it 6 times. You don't
Yeah.
do it 4 times. All right, come on. Let's
Yeah,
get
it
the
just
math
doesn't
straight.
feel right.
Yeah.
And then they always tell you, "Oh, I'm playing this in 6," and you're
Yeah.
like, "No, that's 4, man."
No,
Come
you-
on.
Yeah,
Like,
it's still in
Don't
4.
tell me. Yeah, I mean, I can accent in that in 6 times, but I'll do 6 twice, and you do 4. You're 4 3 times, and then that'll make
You're
it 6. Okay.
I like
yeah.
that.
Exactly. And then you got a polyrhythm going. But that's
yeah,
what
the
we try
drummer
to grit
can
in.
pretty much do what he wants. I played with the drummer just a couple of weeks ago, and he started off this. He didn't start off the song. The singer started off the song 1, 2, 3, 4, and it started off slow. And I turned to the drummer after a couple of measures, and I went, "Come on,
Yeah?
speed it up." He goes, he looks at me like, "Hey, I can't do anything." He started off like that, and I told
But
him
yes,
after
you
the
can.
song, I says, "You're driving this bus. What
Hell
the hell?
yeah.
You letting this passenger hop on this bus?
Yeah, you're the conductor.
And step on the brake for you?
No.
Come on. Jeez.
No.
Somebody's got to be
You're just not being a
responsible
point
for this.
guard. Yeah.
Yeah. You're the drummer. You
Yeah.
do it, and if you screw up, you
Yeah,
take
so be it.
responsibility for that too.
Exactly.
But for Christ's sakes, the song started out slow. What do you
Yeah,
weak?
pick it up when
You're
it's
just
dead.
gonna go
Fix it.
along with
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Jeez, that drives me nuts.
Hey, well heard. Yeah. Like.
Okay, I'm done.
What about you, Mr. Plug? Jam foul.
Jam foul.
You can do
wow.
2 if you want.
He's afraid to
Number
say
1, 2.
anything now.
Man, I don't know, man. Jam fouls. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
cool.
always
He's-
say a jam foul is, just really paying attention, or if I guess the jam foul would be if you're not paying attention to who's soloing or whatever. You really want to
Very ignorant.
build their solo like you would want yours built.
Right, right.
So-
Yeah.
unself-aware zombie walking through life like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
show off.
Yeah.
And Jeremy is by far the
Overcompensate.
best solo builder. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to take
I
a
don't
solo,
know.
put
So
this
then,
guy
where do
behind
you
it.
draw your jam inspiration from when you draw into a solo? What are you listening for? What's really
Well,
giving you that?
I try to start a solo slow, like I do everything is slow, but like I talk slow, it's cool. But start it at 8th notes. I mean, if you start with 64th notes, where are you going to go?
You got
Your
no place to go.
low.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be an 8 bar if you can last that long.
So where do you know when to start? Is it like a bass riff? Is it a
always
drum
try to-
interlude? Is it like the quiet down?
Hopefully
break part?
you can be inspired by something that's happening musically. Like I
Before
always like
that.
the solo after like a cool part of like, oh, there was a cool chorus build up in the song, and now you get this cool moment to
It's like a
solo
post-chorus and then a solo after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There-
you
a lot,
just-
lot of it depends on what
Yeah.
you're coming into, what's before that, and you can
Yeah, go off.
hopefully
from
if it's
there,
another
right?
soloist that's,
Like
that's
a water balloon talk.
doing that, it'll leave you some room to.
So from a soloist perspective, are your favorite solos when like the drums and the rhythm section is quieting down like to the hi-hat and then the groove, or when it's just really just all out there rocking and this the lead, or do you like that quiet moment with the tastiness comes in from your perspective as a player? What's your favorite lead?
I like
jump from?
long solos where it's like, I grew up
Starts
with the
quiet
Allman
and then
Brothers
builds
where
to
it's
the-
like
Where you have
build it up and then
Yeah.
each guy
He's going 64 bars.
build it up slowly.
reaches an apex and
Yeah.
then it
Good answer.
simmers down from there and it's
Good
like,
answer.
wow,
Yeah.
that was a journey, That was
Yeah,
cool.
the Allman Brothers were great at
Starts,
that.
builds,
They
and
were,
also
yeah.
simmers down. It doesn't just build and end. It
Right.
finishes the statement.
Yeah,
of the
it's kind of a
paragraph.
jazz approach to playing
Yeah.
blues and rock music,
Awesome.
Yep.
Would everybody, all the other soloists here, agree with that answer?
Oh, I agree with that.
100%.
Absolutely.
Also, the way the other people meld in.
I agree. What's your favorite
jumping point.
Allman Brothers recording, Jeremy?
Recording, well, I mean, for what we're talking about, you just start with the live record.
Like
Oh,
Fillmore
yeah.
Whipping Post,
At
Fillmore
Fillmore.
East.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good one.
That's so
You
good.
can't
Yeah.
go wrong there. Some of the longer songs on there, like In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, and of course Whipping Post, they get really out. I think it's like a 20.
It's like the whole
Yeah.
side of the
song.
record.
Yeah.
And of course Mountain Jam is very, very long. That's like 45 minutes, I think, on one of
Really?
the records.
It's almost a whole side, right? I think it is a
Or it's
B-side.
30 minutes on Eat a Peach, I think. And I never get bored. I don't know. There's a bass solo in there, and I'm not even bored by that. Like, I mean, that's saying something.
What a surprise. Bass solo, everybody's bored? Wow.
Who's that guy?
But as opposed to, like, if you hear the Grateful Dead do like a drum solo, I mean, you are really wanting to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Allman Brothers had a cool polyrhythmic way of
Yeah.
playing off of each
And
other.
it didn't
where-
go on
did.
forever and ever either.
Yeah, it had a point,
this-
right?
It had
My
Yeah,
theory,
that's what-
16, 32,
It did,
64.
It
Yeah.
was
They
right,
were
right when
mathematicians.
you needed to go to the bathroom.
Although,
No, that's when you don't want to go to the bathroom. on
although
those
in
ones.
the live version of One Way Out,
Yeah, they blow the
one of
time
them
on
should have
that.
gone to the bathroom because they came in late.
Yeah.
It's like reverse, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get flip-flopped,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is one of the worst feelings. Talk about jam fouls.
Oh,
That's the
yeah,
worst
that's a big
feeling
one.
in the world as a drummer, a bass player, or a musician.
Yeah.
When you're flip-flopped the bass.
And I think it was a
drum.
bass player that came in
Yeah.
wrong, too, wasn't
Might
it?
have been, yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, I
Who
think
was
so.
it tonight that did that?
I don't know.
No,
who
nobody
did
came
that.
in wrong
I don't
tonight.
think it was
Yeah.
maybe
We're
me.
much
Everybody's
more
a winner
abstract,
tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any more jam felt. Yeah, it was more abstract, so where that was acceptable. Like those,
Yeah, we
those,
meant to do that tonight.
yeah.
We didn't lock it in hard enough to get flip-flopped.
Well, I think we're established enough musicians at this point where I think we held it down enough.
Oh, yeah.
to where we were brave enough to try, to make a mistake and then be inspired by that, but also we knew how to be tasty and hold
Yeah.
back and give.
The neighbors
with
had
five
no
people-
idea.
Yeah, we thought of the neighbor.
Yeah.
I think of the neighbor sometimes, or the room I'm in playing the drums. I don't want to just be playing fucking
Yeah.
full blown hitting it. Oh, it's
Yeah.
getting a little later. Maybe we need to
I'd-
bring it down,
The only
quiet.
neighbor I thought about was Steve. 'cause-
And he's over here.
And
Right?
I'm here.
well, this is a brilliant idea you guys have. Not
Let's
only
do
is he
this
a great
again.
musician, but he can't call the cops on us. He's here. Or can he? No.
So, what advice would you give me or your fellow musicians?
I think
so
that
can
the main thing
deliver
that,
next
that
time?
I think about is just keep your ears open.
There you go.
'Cause
Listen.
you never know what somebody else is going to do. You think we're going along fine, and sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes a bass player or somebody will change the chord.
Mhm.
The main thing is to just listen.
to support your
Keep your
friend
ears open and listen to what's
right there
going
and
on
go
around
there
you.
with him. Don't leave him hanging. Right. That's what
Yeah,
I try to
you're
do.
kind of a team. If you take
Yeah.
the ensemble approach of jamming, it's a lot easier when you only have like one chordal instrument. Like if it's a power trio, it's
Mhm.
one
Yeah.
guitar, right?
No.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Wrong notes.
That space is
who's-
there.
Who's the judge?
Yeah.
But when you have we had 3 chordal instruments tonight, you really have to have even bigger ears
Right.
to
No.
oh, is that minor, major? Where are we at? You
Yeah.
you kind of really need to listen. You can get into some train wrecks quick if you're not listening.
I've always thought that was the number one skill in a seasoned musician is the listening aspect.
Absolutely.
Having that ear, and
That's
that's
the
how I
main
try to
thing,
approach
yeah.
being a drummer is being a really good listener. I mean, and I find that in any musician who's seasoned that I've seen, or even a rookie musician who doesn't know the chords but can jam, they're a great listener. I mean, that's my number one approach, just to hear what everybody's doing. Like, yeah, if the bass player's out of sync, maybe I need to go out of sync with him real quick. And those people that are in the groove, they'll find that groove. You know, like, I mean, I play that role where you play with super tight musicians as a drummer. You play super tight. They're sloppy, grunge, you know, with Kurt Cobain to back him up. You got to be sloppy, right? I mean, and that's the key of, I think, not only the drummer or the rhythm section, but any musician you see, especially when you're jamming or being in a band collaborating. This isn't just the David Bowie or the Steve Stizzo band. Like, you have to have number one be listen. It becomes being an aware person, friend, you know, conversationalist, where you know when someone else wants to finish the story, when you should ask them to expand on it, when you need to add to it and share your story to help them expand on it, because they're not gonna without you doing it. And I mean, that's why I have that comparison a lot with jamming.
It's like talking to somebody on a cell phone. You got to wait till they get done talking before you can talk. Otherwise, you're just everybody's talking at the same time.
And jams are a form of communication. To me, music is like the ultimate communication.
Oh,
I think,
absolutely.
you know, music and drums from Africa, they were the first form of communication and led to this. So I think we've had a lot of talks about this on the show of just, you know, first off, you have to be seasoned musicians. You have a good jam, obviously. But if you're not seasoned, just a group of guys like us where you got father-in-laws, friends, and people that relate on a conversational side where we can just talk and share, and we're aware enough to listen, that will add a lot to the jam because it's just a different form of conversation.
Absolutely.
You have to have a different muscle memory of
when
knowing the words.
We were in Italy
and listening.
last year. We were playing in Italy. Went to Italy last year to see some of my relatives, and me and Tony and the family, and one of them brought an accordion to me, and another one came up with a guitar, and we just said, okay, key of G. We just started playing. And I didn't speak that much Italian. They didn't speak any English. But shoot, we played for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it was all that. It's like a universal language.
That's why these shows are very important to me.
Yeah.
Not only just hanging out with friends, but like that deeper connection with, like, it crosses barriers of language and translation. We're creating new language. We're expanding upon old language whether we're vibing on Allman Brother jams or doing something experimental, completely new. Like, this is a blessing to me. Like, I'm very, very thankful to share these moments musically and conversationally, and like to expand our minds in a way that a lot of people don't really think about. They get to listen to it. They get to
listen
high
to
school
it.
listener
To
level.
play it is just so much fun. It's just
We're really lucky. You know,
Very
we
lucky.
get to play. You know, it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's amazing
to
when
make
you
these
talk to some of your
connections.
neighbors or whoever's hearing you or whoever you talk to about music, and they're like, how many people don't say, I wish I would have learned how to play guitar, or I'm trying to learn how to play. And it's like,
I hear that all the
if
time.
you didn't start when you were young, you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really is. We are
It's
really
definitely a
blessed that
second language.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
like
almost all of us, our fathers brought us into this, you know?
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, Steve, and like you too, like having music as a first language, like that applies to every other learning aspect, whether it's learning
absolutely.
English or mathematics, because we're talking about bars and even timing, like geometry.
It's been proven.
Shapes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, looking back, being like playing sports and having teamwork, the biggest aspect of my life that's helped me in every single area, from being a business working drone to being a friend to like letting go or camping, whatever, has been that musical knowledge and that exposure to music early. It's a just different way of thinking and learning. It opens up a mindset.
It's
just
it's a scientific
it's so important.
fact. That
even for kids that aren't musically inclined, but just to have that little bit of exposure.
Influence.
I mean, it applies to mathematical reasoning, science, everything.
Engineering,
I mean,
whatever.
I apply these jams and conversations in our music to every aspect of my life.
when Dustin works at work, you guys you play certain jams that we do and have different like tasks you do, right?
Yeah, so I'm big on the logistics management, and like I think go back to preschool, you color code everything, have everything sequenced. So with my crew, like we have different parts of the process. I'll play a specific song that means like, okay, now it's time to do this. And then the next song that we play, it's like the anthem of this process, and everybody gets used to it. Like the Pavlov, like ringing the bell. It makes the dog drool.
Dog these guys.
And it makes the dog drool. And that was my minor with psychology.
Totally true.
But music applied into that psychology aspect, and music's a very important thing for the psychology and being a leader, and just or color coding. It just helps
Or
people.
podcasting.
I play my podcast a lot for it. Like I play my podcast on days where it's like it's open. There's no part of the sequence. We're jamming. We're doing things out. So I put on that jam music and talk and get people's
These
minds
people have
open.
to like
They have to put
file,
up with it, or they get
file
fired.
some
No.
stuff. It does
They have to
seem
pretend like they like it, but thankfully they do. You know, and like I'm a diplomatic. We're a democracy, so I do get the request of what do you want to listen to, like the random guy.
Yeah.
I'll play around with that, and then I get the guys' feedback of what hey, what's the theme song for that vibe, and like they pitch in and we find it. And music, I mean, it's a universal language. I put on a tune, like people will be scattered out through the building, and I just put on that tune, and they know that tune, and that means that signals. Just like flashing a light or that color, that signals. That's the process.
Go to the trough.
Yeah, I no longer have to walk away. Yeah, walk and find them. I ring the bell. And I put the song on, and they know exactly what time the process is, and I do too. And it helps me get people like the consistency,
Got 'em trained.
the pattern, and me too. But it's me. It's also for me. I mean, it's that
what Hitler
that consistency. Yeah, but I did it with the diplomat. I'm not high on methamphetamine and just driving it. That's what the jam is, right? We're a good listener. We listen to what. Hey, you play the song that you might think fits that vibe or process, and they go, it doesn't vibe for everybody. You got to have that team aspect.
It's a really reasonable approach.
Hey,
Break
you're
it down
a
to preschool.
Himmler away from.
That's funny. I was thinking that name too. I was thinking
But music, I mean, speaking of Nazis and Himmler, it's
You're
a very
Goebbels and a
powerful mind
Himmler
control.
away from genocide.
Yeah, music's a very powerful mind control tool.
It
Like
is.
going from that tuning.
Does it help
the
you
specific
guys?
tuning?
Instead of gathering a crew, it seems like it would help their focus more immediately. They already know what they're gonna do. It's not like, oh, it's chaos. Hey guys,
It's
we're gonna
consistency.
do this now.
Yeah,
They already know. They're into it. Probably is
yeah,
much more efficient. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's just like children. You want
can
them to
see
be
that.
well adjusted. All right, we're gonna
Yeah.
leave in 10 minutes, right? So just, hey fuckers, get in the car now. Like, we got 10 minutes. Play on the park swing. Okay. Hey guys, we got 5 more minutes. Okay.
Yep.
Hey guys, we got 2 minutes. Wrap it up. All right, guys. Last swing, right? We're getting ready to go. Well adjusted. People like that.